Welcome, my beautiful Pisces, to a very special love reading. I just want to let you know, especially for you, on the 22nd, Venus in your sign and Jupiter in Cancer harmonize. So they trined, and this is expanding romance in all different ways. So this really had me thinking about doing this series for love. So let's see, especially with Venus in your sign, let's see what's happening romantically. So we will of course, open the reading with Mother Mary. I'm going to use the crystal vision to go deeper in your reading because deep we go. I'm going to try not to make it too long, but then again, we'll let it be whatever it needs to be. We're going to use the Tarot of Dreams for you, which is not a deck that I normally choose for you, but it kind of chose you. So just quiet your mind. By the way, this is for Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, any placements. Those intuitively guided. The way I feel is if you clicked on the video, something made you click on the video, and which I just called it your video. Because I do read not just through tarot, but our spirit guides. So they can be very deep. That's why I say leave your expectations at the door and just open up your intuition. So, with all that being said, let's go ahead and bring the lid down. I don't know why my screen looks so dark. All right, Pisces. Family. I pray for my family and give this situation over to God for answers, support, and healing. Family. So, we'll know why family came out as we reveal, and that's really what these readings do. They unfold. It's like watching the beautiful movie of Pisces. That's what tarot feels like to me. Like I am about to unfold your story. So, and by the way, all my decks are always pre-shuffled. That's when I'm really just meditating on your sign. And it's actually when the Tarot of Dreams called out to me for you because I had another deck ready, but nope. So we'll see why. Right. Pisces. Five of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles, well, you know, Five of Pentacles speaks of something that potentially happened outside of your control. It could feel like sometimes it feels like, being thrown out into the cold. It is a five, so it is change. This may be change I didn't ask for, but I have a feeling it's probably going to serve you. But when you're in it, it doesn't quite feel that way. So I feel like just keep in mind that this is temporary energy. I often feel that this person is heading closer and closer to their true soulmate tribe. And who knows, maybe what was before just doesn't feel real for some reason. Whoa. Okay. We have interesting another five. This time it's the Hierophant. Here it's called Faith. So, I feel like this is telling you or asking you to continue having faith even though You may be going through something difficult. And, if something happened where it was like you received a tower, boy, I just have to say, I feel like, well, I don't feel like your guides are upset about it. I don't know how else to say that. So, the Hierophant, it is change, right? But it wants you to question the change. Like, okay, so maybe someone broke up with me or, whatever put me in the Five of Pentacles. And then you start really reflecting upon that. But you look at it from like a different perspective, let's say a spiritual perspective, or even your faith. You may ask yourself, well, were our morals aligning anyway? Did I have to lower my vibration to meet another? And am I learning that it really should be the other way around? Two fives. But I feel like one is more energetic. It wants you to ask yourself these things. Okay. And then we have Three of Pentacles, which I love in a love reading. This is all about your individuality, your creativity. Sometimes I feel like when we're going through something difficult, like moving into our creative house can really help. And why? Well, let's say you're painting a picture, or you're not painting a picture, you're painting. It really does take all your attention. It's like no matter what's going on in my life, when I sit down and do a tarot reading, I let it go. And if I want to pick it back up afterwards, that's up. Um, but also in love, and you can't really see it here, but there's usually someone behind this person. And I feel like this is someone who absolutely will appreciate your individuality. Absolutely. Seven of Pentacles, your tree of life. When I see the Seven of Pentacles, I feel like anything that shows, anything that's already shown, it feels like energy that we needed to go through, our soul wanted to go through. I feel like these seeds on the tree are your soul seeds of intention. And remember, it is your intentions that really create your world. This may talk about, the first message, which is Seven of Pentacles, is patience. And that is so one of these seeds can come to fruition. Or, I relate it to like an apple tree. So one of the apple, if I'm going to pick an apple, I want it to be ripe. I don't want to pick it before it's time. This reminds me of the Knight of Pentacles also. So I feel like no matter what happened back in the Five Pentacles, I feel like you are being moved forward. You're moving forward. Or let me put it a different way. Your guides are trying to help you move forward. She's just sitting under that tree, being patient. Some of you, I could see you like being out in nature. Like honestly, I feel like someone is taking their easel and their canvas and their paints and they're going outside and they're painting. And that's just one of many things. But I can see it in my mind's eye. I feel like something just flipped. And it did. the Two of Wands. So, a new path was opening up. Completely different than the path of the Pentacles. So now this is about action. This is about passion. Two of Wands is not a fear-based energy. It doesn't mean that, like, I could have a little fear, but I don't let it get in my way. This is where I start following what is singing to my soul. And I love it's right next to the Seven of Pentacles, because the Seven of Pentacles also reads like the wheel to me, like your destiny. So this Two of Wands mirroring this Five of Pentacles, I almost feel like if the Five of Pentacles didn't happen, the Two of Wands path maybe wouldn't have opened up. Okay, let's keep going. See where it's taking us. Like they just landed in my hand. The Hangman under the Five of Pentacles. The Three of Wands under the Hierophant. Nice. The Five of Wands under the Three of Pentacles. 555, by the way. There may be three changes. Palace of Swords under the Seven of Pentacles. And then, interesting, the Two of Pentacles under the Two of Wands. 22. Two of Pentacles is mirroring the Hangman. The Hangman is seeking wisdom for my next steps. Spiritual wisdom, but to use on this earthly plane. And it feels like what it's asking from you is to use your logical mind. You know what I mean? Not your fear-based mind. Again, another energy where fear is not what's determining whether I'm walking down this new path or not. And I got to go back because the five that shows up, the Five of Wands, well, that's not a good energy. That is fighting. That is ego. It's the energy of no one wanting to back down. I have a feeling that someone just couldn't see the true potential of you. Or maybe they did, and that scared them. Now, why would that scare them? Because without them knowing, I feel like you're lifting vibrations. And therefore, anything that is not of an equal vibration, let's say, naturally, the universe wants it to fade away. It's us who many times pulls it back in. It's just something we're learning. You know what I mean? It's something we learn along the way. So anyways, I just feel like, I unfortunately feel like you've been dealing with some, I don't know, bullshit is what I want to say. But I do not feel like that's the way it wants to remain. I don't feel like your soul is saying, I want to stay in this energy any longer. I feel like your soul is like, let's go. Let's move. Let's just accept and let's move on. What maybe I thought was my person really has brought me more. It just feels like I could see this being someone who connects with you and then goes quiet. And then when you talk, you fight. Well, I mean, you haven't called me in 3 months. So, of course, you're going to be angry. But this is what I feel like Spirit wants you to focus on. Not about you being angry, it's about their actions or lack of. Don't allow yourself to get stuck to the ground because of that. Don't think this is the end. Really, it feels like the beginning. And I love the Ace of Swords under the Seven of Pentacles. This is number one, truth, integrity, spoken word, written word. This could certainly be something you choose to do. Again, the Three of Pentacles, your creative house, your creative mind. Moving into the Seven of Pentacles, it feels like something that almost like you were born to do. A lot of times we don't know that until we take a step into it. So I feel like your voice, in many different ways, is really something you want to focus on. This feels like a dream of something you've wanted to do, but maybe haven't yet. And it may be the perfect time. It just may be the perfect time. Oh, let's not forget this one. So then we have the Three of Wands under faith. This is optimism. This is living in the present moment. And this is what our guides are always asking us to do. Why? Number one, it's next to the Hangman. So someone's seeking wisdom for their next steps. And in the Three of Wands, that's exactly what's happening. Because you are living in the present moment, it's much easier to pick up the signs, to pick up the guidance that you're seeking, direction, whatever it may be. This definitely feels like, we open up with not such easy energy. But I feel like as we move along, maybe once we hit that Two of Wands, well, it makes sense. Then we move into the Three of Wands. So we start to see life differently, our potential differently. It feels like the weight of everyone, the non believers, the ones who put you down, the ones who didn't believe, whatever it may be. I don't know. I just feel like, watch out, world. The ticket, I feel like, is you had to believe in you. It didn't matter if they believed in you, and I don't even know who they is yet, or if that person believed in you. You have to learn to believe in yourself. Because there's just so much love that you can offer. And unfortunately, I say unfortunately, but as I've been doing this for over 20 years and I see the patterns often. You know what I mean? Like we're going through something difficult, we get stuck, we think, that's it. But your reading is saying this is just the beginning of something new. See, it's on the bottom of the deck. Palace of Wands. Two palaces. The Empress, the mother figure. Seven of Swords. Okay, well, I'll tell you right now, the Empress would not live in the same house with the Seven of Swords. Maybe she did. The Empress is a lot like you, Pisces. Loving, nurturing. Love is important, but it's not everything. And I mean like romantic love. The Empress has really learned how to love herself again. This is someone who has been through it. She's been through that Five of Pentacles. She's been all through all those changes. But this Seven of Swords, that is untrustworthy energy all day long. And I feel like the Empress, there's just no way. And this may be like right beneath the surface. Right beneath the surface. Because I feel like what the Empress really wants is the Palace of Wands. And look at you, about to step on to the path of the Wands. All right, let's bring in the Gilded Tarot. Let me just grab a drink of coffee. Yucky, cold. Give him a cup. Well, there are 10 of cups on the bottom. Okay. Let's start at the beginning. Ace of Swords. Self-created prison. It just feels like you got stuck in someone's web. I definitely feel like there's something to learn from this. But when you see the Eight of Swords, this is where we put up walls. Completely different of what the Empress would do. And I feel like this is part of what your reading is about. Like you're evolving into that true Empress's energy. And this is showing you like the energies that just kind of don't go along. This is because we don't trust in our intuition. This is why these walls come up. And listen, I get it, right? Like it's coming over the Five of Pentacles, something that wasn't easy to deal with. But the self-created prison, and I feel like the Hangman, and for some of you, even Mother Mary talked about some of you praying for help. And I feel like you're receiving it, but these walls have to come down. The blindfolds have to come up. And that just means you need to be honest with yourself. What's ever hurt me, is it worth fighting for more of it? Or should I just let myself be free? 8 is about a new beginning. 5, change. But the Eight of Swords is not allowing that new beginning. I do feel like it changes, but we'll see. We have the Queen of Pentacles. Can be Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorns coming over Taurus. I call the Queen of Pentacles my psychic detective. The Five of Pentacles over the Three of Pentacles. The Knight of Swords on that beautiful white horse. Over the Seven of Pentacles, your Tree of Life. Hello, lovers. Hello, lovers. Right over the Two of Wands. How interesting. So the Lovers is a card of Gemini. The meaning is a head over heart decision, and that is probably part of it, but it's true chemistry. Like, it's undeniable. Just look at the coloring. Look at how they're holding each other. It feels like a promise of what lies on this new path. And once you step on this new path, this old energy, this hurtful energy, I do feel like, listen, as you do come upon the Lovers, this energy is going to be like, what was I even thinking? What was I even doing? Why was I all upset? You know what I mean? Like, because I feel like this is a type of love that offers you something completely different. Well, it's this love sits on your tree of life. And then, the 10 of swords. Oh my God. Whatever you were going through, 10 with swords to me, many times is a repeat pattern because it is taking dagger after dagger after dagger in the back. But it gets to the point where I just know it's going to happen. I just expect the daggers. And then they show. That's the power of intention. Positive, but also negative. And I don't feel like you're calling in like more daggers. I feel like it's because I'm in the situation. More daggers keep coming. However, I feel like whether someone kind of gave you the tower or you decide to give the tower, you decide to free yourself. Why? Well, again, you're questioning your morals, your faith. Are you living life according to your standards? Three of Wands down here. I get this sense that when you really free yourself, some of you, like in a physical sense, but also like the mental thoughts, like, did I do something wrong? Why wasn't I lovable? It's not that you weren't lovable, but look what waits. Look what waits. How could this be love? Real love. I mean, it could be love, but not the kind of love that I feel like my Pisces deserves. So, I feel like you are having some realizations of something just happening over and over again. And, again, some of you, I feel like you dealt with someone who was like in the picture and out of the picture. And then they come back in, and I feel like the first thing we would do is fight and then break back up again. And you may say, damn, why do I get angry? Why do I say it? But she had every right. I feel like you have every right to feel the way you feel. And I'm saying that really from your spirit guides. You had every right to feel that way, to get angry, to be upset. But you also have every right now to free yourself, to let yourself explore the potential of these Lovers. Two Pentacles again. Can't pick it up. Two Pentacles. But I like the Two Pentacles over the Three of Wands because now when I'm trying to make a decision about something, I'm doing it from an optimistic lens. Excuse me 1 second. Okay. So, anyways, Two of Pentacles over optimism. You know, what I think about, I bring about. What I think about, I bring about. And over this Two of Pentacles, mirroring not only the Hangman, but the Ten of Swords. But that is the power of our intention. Wow. Your cards aren't wasting any time. Well, there's our beautiful Knight of Pentacles. Beautiful. So, the Knight of Pentacles, its first message is patience. But this Knight talks about bringing in a pentacle. This pentacle that this Knight brings is truly meant to enhance your life. This Knight comes at the right time. Not before, not after. So when this Knight comes, you know the timing is right. I feel like it helps you. It gives you a way. It just puts the right thing, the right people, the right information in front of you at just the right time. You know, it is guardian angel energy. And I get this sense that if I don't realize that I wasn't in a, that I, if I don't realize that I was in a repeat pattern and I don't break that pattern, well, then it won't be the right time for the Knight because I feel like that has to come first, or at least the realization. Like, wait a minute. I'm the one who's been taking all these swords. I'm the one who feels like I'm getting thrown out into the cold. I'm the one who can't get any answers or questions answered without a fight. I'm the one who has to make that change. But when I do, I mean, automatically it puts you in an optimistic mood. Automatically it sets you free. You know, the Lover is mirroring the Eight of Swords. Can that be if somebody is in the Eight of Swords? I don't think so. Why? Because you probably just turn him down. And I have a feeling that this Knight doesn't want you to turn down what's coming in. And when I say, I shouldn't say what's coming in, what's along this journey. All right, let's keep going. Queen of Swords, right over the Palace of Swords. Six of Pentacles. This is a great thing to ask yourself. So as you feel like you meet this new lover, I feel like a great thing, well, this is probably what you have learned. Like back here, it wasn't an equal give and take, especially because we saw the Seven of Swords. Well, Seven of Swords is a taker all day long. So learning that lesson of you deserve to receive as well as give. And in the Queen of Swords over the Palace of Swords, I'm telling you that the use of your voice. And I feel like you're all people here, except for the lovers and the Knight and the other Knight. Okay, what else do we have? Oh, the Sun. Beautiful. Cardaleo. This is your illuminator. This is where everything is clear. It's right out there in front. This is the energy of if one allows themselves to feel like a kid again, find joy in the everyday. Oh my gosh. And then we have the Chariot. Unlimited potential. You know, the Chariot is driven by your intentions. And that's important to know, right? Because if we don't know that our intentions are part of the co creation with divine, of our own lives, then we may stay stuck. But when we understand that we have that power, right, that we have the pen and the paper, then we may start writing our chapters a little differently. Chariot is unlimited potential, but it does require balance. So once balance is found, and by the way, the feminine, masculine, the light, the shadow within us, but maybe also within whoever else is in the lovers. And then the Queen of Wands, the Queen of Action, the Queen that follows her passion. Mirrored by the sun. And even the sun coming under the Three of Wands, I feel like for some, come in here probably with your head hung low. You may have felt like, oh, this is it type of energy. But you guys are saying this is the opposite of that. This is the beginning of something. And, not just one thing. Number one, it's you reclaiming your life. It's you putting love back into yourself again. It's you speaking your truth and knowing your truth. And it's you now able to analyze what was and say, what was I fighting for? And you don't even have to say that. But I do have a feeling you may think that. Because I feel like as you step on this new path, I feel like everything changes. Everything changes. And I feel like most of it, well, I feel like you're going to feel it. And when I say everything changes, this is a love reading. But I also feel like doing something that just feels right for you. And I mean that like in your creative house. Getting back to you. Getting back to your gifts, to your dreams. And the Knight of Pentacles is just what I'm waiting for. Right? Like, I can't come while you're in the Ten of Swords energy. I can't come in while you have this prison created around you. But when you put those walls down, when you free yourself, when you just say to yourself, like, again, what was I fighting for? And now I'm open to, not even what's new in love, because I don't feel like that's even, after you've gone something through so hard, so difficult, you may not be saying, like, okay, where's my next love? I don't think you have to. Because this night, you will be in the right place at the right time. That's what this night offers. Like when it says right, like I come at the right time, it's not kidding. It's not kidding. But yes, it does ask a few things from you also. Like you have to be, we need to be in the energy of what it is we want to manifest back to us. Right? I can't be in this low energy, but want to manifest the highest version of love, but then I can't even give love. You know what I mean? All right. I want to go up and look at the lovers real quick. Look at that. Three of Pentacles. Beautiful. I truly love the Three of Pentacles in a love reading. There is that person. There's that person. She doesn't know it. It's like someone admiring you, but you have no clue. Not yet. This is someone celebrating you because of your individuality. Where over here, I feel like someone was putting you down or wouldn't like I want to say wouldn't allow you to be your true self, but it really wasn't up to them. I feel like you might have felt like you had to change to be part of that, but now you're seeing, hopefully, can something like this be healed? I would never say no. But this, like we can only work on ourselves. They have to work on themselves. And that will determine, because everyone has the same opportunities as it comes to, evolving. But many choose not to. Some don't even know what that means. So I love the Three of Pentacles with the lovers. And look at that, Six of Pentacles right below that. All right, I'm going to look at the Knight of Pentacles. With the Nine of Wands. So it's like this Knight is saying, this reflection, the Nine of Wands is reflecting back, but not in judgment. It's really looking back and saying to oneself, like, wow, look at the things that I have overcome in my life. Look at the adventures I have had. This is about every wand that's behind this person has been an experience, a lesson. But this is reflecting upon it so that there can be growth. And I feel like this is what the Knight is asking for. This person is looking towards the past. I mean, that is true realization of what's happening in the, either in the current or the past. And then we get the Page of Wands. Interesting. Page of Wands, my risk taker. Very much like my Fool. This page can really teach us because this is someone who has taken chances in life and not all of them have paid off. But this is someone who, you know, listen, they take the time they need, but then they get back up again. They get back on that horse again. And I feel like it's lessons that we can learn from that. But I feel like the Knight is also saying that you need to be in this, like this willingness, right? This is really an adventuresome type of energy. It's kind of laid back there. All right. Anything else want to come out with that? Page of Wands can be the younger version of the Queen of Wands. But I still think it's you. Look at that, another nine, the Nine of Swords. So the Nine of Swords is unnecessary worry. It's like the Knight is saying, This worry that you carry, I'm sure some of it is of the past. I don't want to repeat. I don't want to go through that hard lesson again. That's the thing. Like, if you've gone through it and you understand it and you've reclaimed yourself again, then you won't go through it again because now you know that energy. And if that energy comes towards you, you'll be able to shut it right down. And I feel like that's why the Queen of Pentacles is also over the Hierophant, right? My psychic detective. It's like picking up the signs that the universe is throwing down. I feel like this is saying that you do not need to worry, especially with the Knight of Pentacles. Again, guardian angel energy. And what this night brings in truly can enhance your life in many different ways. We know one of it is love, but I can't help but say I also feel this sense of you and your gifts and doing what makes you happy. Okay. I'm going to just ask for any final messages, and I am going to bring out the romance angels, but I feel like I just wanted. All right, with the King of Cups, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. Look at that, the Page of Cups. Hmm. Who is this king? Interesting, because there's a Page of Cups, the King of Cups, the Page of Wands, the Queen of Wands, and I do feel like you are the Queen of Wands. Um, Male or female, by the way. This is making me wonder, like, well, I'm just going to ask the question because I feel like this is a potential past life love, which means it's a soulmate. But then again, I kind of knew that because I feel like the Knight of Pentacles wouldn't bring in anything less than that. And if I remember again that the Knight of Pentacles says, I come at the right time. And the Lover's coming right over the Two of Wands, right when you're about to step on this new path. I mean, how quickly do you and this love come across each other? Doesn't seem like long. And then we have the Seven of Pentacles, which puts the ball back in your court. Oh, I'm sorry, Seven of Cups. And what's interesting is I feel like this happens a lot where someone may reach out. We have the Knight of Swords. Someone may communicate. And it may come at a time on a day that's chaotic, like, there's so much going on. And then who knows? Maybe the phone rings. For some of you, the page to the king and the page to the queen can be of yesteryear. It can also be of past lives. But Seven of Cups. Will you choose me? Will you choose me? Hello, Knight of Cups. Unexpected couple fulfillment. Love. Look at that. Coming right into the Seven of Cups. Where I do feel like, I feel like there's something about that day. There's something different about that day. And I feel like, I do feel like, wow. And I mean, like, wow, like, maybe I'm not having a great day. And then all of a sudden, everything changes. It's interesting because this night is coming in to you, and then it puts the question or the answer on you. Will you accept my cup? I feel like you will, but you know, again, the ball will be put in your court. The sun, I want to remind you because some of you have dealt with the Seven of Swords, and that is why the self created prison has been created. The sun, when you see it in a reading, especially a love reading, everything is illuminated, the good, the bad, the ugly. But it's so you can see it. But here's what I'm feeling though, especially with the chariot right next to it. By the way, they're neighbors. Um, what I was going to say, I feel like what this is saying is there is no need to worry. There won't be a need to worry. Um, because I feel like number one, you are able to recognize that energy now. But the sun really is kind of like a guarantee. If anything happens in the dark, it will come to the light. I don't think anything is going to happen in the dark. I feel like the dark has already happened. We're now moving towards the light. And again, that trying for you, like if I feel like you, especially you in Cancer, I feel are heading towards real love. I don't know what else to say. All right. I'm going to pick up all this for a second. It just feels like too much. Too much, too much, too much, too much. All right. This could be the one. Huh. You already met the romantic partner you seek. There's that page to the queen and the page to the king. And by the way, soulmates, no doubt. Past lives, yes. The answer is yes. I don't even have to question it, I just know it. Oh my God. I'm telling you, sometimes I feel like I don't even need the cards. Look at this. Past life relationship. You have known each other before. Look at this. This could be the one. Someone from your past life, is returning to your life. Look at them. Look at them here. This is like past life, present life, potential. The potential. Because you have to be the one to say yes. Look at that. And let me just say that, I feel and I see the difficulty and the sadness and the hardship you've been through. I see it all. I feel it. But I also feel the other side, like the other side of the coin. And I know it's hard sometimes to believe, that this true love could really find you, the past life. By the way, Seven of Pentacles, your tree of life, this tells me that you and your soulmate had a predestined time to come together. And now I know that that's what the Knight of Pentacles is talking about, right? I come at the right time. That means that the seed of these lovers, of these past life soulmates, it is their time. So anything before that, it could have felt like a lot of resistance, but the changes, I feel like they had to happen. And maybe when you look at it in that perspective, it takes away some of the sting. Because I am telling you, when you're in love with this person, you are not going to be thinking about this over here. You won't be. This is what you have to let it go. I'm saying you have to. Of course, it's free will. Your guides can't even make you, but boy, they can put a lot of resistance. But take that as a sign. Like everything I try just keeps getting put back in my face or what have you. Sign. Maybe it's time for change. Do you want to keep taking those daggers in your back? And if you and why? And I get it because love is difficult. Love is beautiful. But boy, it can be difficult if you've had some difficult experiences. Like this person treated me bad, that person treated me bad, that person treated me bad. But you have to look at the common denominator, and that's you. I'm not going to let people treat me bad anymore. I'm not going to accept a call every couple weeks or every couple months. I'm not going to accept that. I'm not going to keep telling myself that I am less than because someone's making me feel that. This is about getting back to you. And then the right timing for your past life love. And man, do I feel comforted, loved, held deeply. And it's time. What if someone does not move out of that self-created prison? Is it their time? No. Doesn't mean it won't be whenever they do, but it won't be the right time. I can tell you that. You know, it's funny. I don't know why I'm thinking about this right now, but I told Sam before I ended up moving in with him, um, and maybe it's just the Virgo in me, which is your opposite sign, by the way. Um, but I said, I really like after my last relationship, and it didn't end badly. We remained friends. Um, he said I really had no plan of being with anyone. I wanted to focus on my work, and and then Sam called, and then that changed everything. So you never know. You never know. You never know. You never know. And you know what else is interesting? Because I know how spirit works. I had separated myself, or I left my partner of 25 years. I was only single for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And then Sam called. But if he had called and I was still with that person, I know my morals. I would have had to say no. And my guides know that. And that's why they waited until I was single. And I'm going to use myself for an example because I want you to understand how energy works. Like my guides know that it's just, I'm loyal to a fault. And I've been loyal to people who didn't deserve my loyalty, but those are my morals. And that's why I'm saying, like, if Sam would have called and I still had been with the other person, I would have had to told him no. I just couldn't have done it. So Spirit gave me 2 weeks. Go get yourself single. So I did. And then that night a cup showed up. And listen, the only reason I'm talking about myself is because I feel similar energy to my own story. And by the way, Sam and I now live together. We have committed ourselves to each other. So I think I'm going to leave it there, guys. I mean, where else could we take it? I just knew this is a past life love. I knew it. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait for you. I cannot wait for those comments of Sandy. Guess what? Out of the blue, I was contacted, or, I was just out shopping one day and I ran into someone that just stirred me, stirred my soul. Like, I can't wait because I know those will be future comments. I just know it. All right. I'm going to let it be, guys. I love you. I thank you. Happy loving. Get back to the happy part of it. Happy loving. This is not your first time together. Chances are it won't be your last. You know each other for eternity. And that's why it feels so familiar. You just know each other. You know each other's souls. I feel like this is predestined, but it has to be at the right time. And here I am still talking. I love you guys. I'll see you next time at our table. Bye bye.